Since its start 5 years ago, the NBL's Next Stars program has been a talent factory. Established in 2018 to give young players a chance to level up by competing against pros and earning money, it's become a popular alternative to college hoops. With 8 NBA draft picks already, including LaMelo Ball at 3rd overall, the program is gaining global attention. This year could be its biggest yet, with 3 out of 8 players likely to join NBA teams, and 1 emerging as the favorite for the top spot. His name is Alex Sarr. He's a 7'1" 19-year-old French baller who's calling Perth home these days. NBA scouts can't stop talking about his 7'4" wingspan, sky-high defensive skills, and, as he puts it, his versatility. Chatting with GQ from Perth after a workout with the Wildcats just before Christmas, Sarr says, "My biggest strength is just being versatile, whether it's on offense or defense. Defensively, I can play 1 to 5, and offensively, just pretty much do anything." Before diving deeper, let's take a quick look at who Alex Sarr is. Born in Bordeaux, France, he hails from a family deeply rooted in basketball, initially in Bordeaux and later in Toulouse. Sarr's basketball journey began at the tender age of 4. In 2019, Sarr made a significant move to join the youth team of the prestigious Spanish club, Real Madrid, where he spent 2 seasons honing his skills. Then he made his debut for the French junior national team, a significant milestone in his burgeoning basketball career. His impact was immediate, as he played a key role in helping France secure victory at the FIBA Under-16s European Challengers, showcasing his talent and potential on the international stage. The following year, Sarr continued to shine on the global basketball scene, contributing to France's success at the 2022 FIBA Under-17s World Cup, where the team earned a bronze medal. His performances continued to impress, and in 2023 he was part of the French squad that clinched the silver medal at the FIBA Under-19s World Cup, further solidifying his reputation as a rising star in international basketball. Off the court, Sarr comes from a basketball-centric family. His father, Sarr, who hails from Senegal, is a former professional basketball player, providing Alex with a strong basketball pedigree. Furthermore, his older brother Olivier currently plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA, adding to the family's basketball legacy. Sarr's professional trajectory took a notable turn in 2021 when he ventured to the United States to join the newly established Overtime Elite League in Atlanta. This move provided him with an alternative professional pathway, complete with a guaranteed minimum salary of at least $100,000 per year. He made his mark over 2 seasons at Overtime Elite, playing first with Team Overtime and then with YNG Dreamers. His stellar performance earned him second-team All-OTE honors in the 2022-2023 season. Despite his rawness, Sarr has been causing chaos among older and more experienced NBL players all season long. Although he only comes off the bench for around 20 minutes per game, Sarr is averaging nearly 10 points and 5 rebounds. Though they're not jaw-dropping numbers, his defensive skill shines through. With 1.4 blocks per game, he ranks among the league's top 5 shot blockers. But stats don't paint the full picture. Oh, and you know what else doesn't paint the full picture? Just watching one of our videos. So make sure you subscribe to our channel to get the full story and never miss out on our latest content. Watching Sarr dominate the paint is like observing a spider in its web. He moves with such grace and instinct that opponents might think they're in the clear before he swats their shots into oblivion. In a game against Southeast Melbourne, he scored 18 points in just 19 minutes, where 2 of those points came from a spectacular spin move in the post, and he racked up an incredible 5 blocks. His fellow Frenchman and 2023 #1 overall pick Victor Wembanyama has told ESP that when I first saw him in 2020, he was just an unbelievable talent. Back then, Sarr's game was unfamiliar to many, unless they were die-hard fans in Spain, where he played for Real Madrid's youth team, or Atlanta, where he competed in the Overtime Elite League for 16 to 20-year-olds. However, since arriving in Australia, Alex has made a name for himself. On May 9, 2023, Sarr signed with the Perth Wildcats of the Australian National Basketball League as part of the league's Next Stars program for the 2023-24 season. His arrival sparked a lot of excitement, as he was seen as a highly promising draft prospect. His first notable performance came in the annual Pink Game against the Adelaide 36ers in October, where he hit a couple of late 3-pointers to secure a thrilling victory, showcasing his clutch gene. One particular play that stood out was a crucial rebound he grabbed before sinking those late-game threes, demonstrating his ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor. Sarr's confidence in taking and making big shots grew throughout the season, leading to more standout moments in pressure situations. Head coach John Riley praised Sarr's rim protection, especially highlighting his performance in Game 1 of the series. Riley emphasized that it was Sarr's best game in terms of protecting the rim, with his activity and presence making a significant difference for the team. Unfortunately, a hip injury in late December sidelined Sarr for about a month, but he returned stronger, delivering important performances towards the end of the season. His defensive presence was particularly notable, as he averaged a playoffs-high 2.7 blocked shots per game during the semi-final series against Tasmania. In the last days of January, he delivered an exceptional performance, recording career highs with 18 points and 5 blocks in a 103-91 victory over the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. His presence on the court was electrifying, with his dominant defensive play and ability to score crucial points that were instrumental in securing his team's victory. Since returning from injury, Sarr has shown impressive progression, becoming a pillar of the Wildcats team. His presence on the court is beneficial not only in terms of statistics, but also in terms of the impact and energy he brings to his teammates. His hard work and dedication to improving every day make him a player to watch closely for the future of the NBL and beyond. Sarr's athleticism and exciting style of play, combined with his impressive 7.1-foot frame, made him a standout player for NBL 24. He averaged 9.4 points, 4.3 rebounds, 1.7 blocks, and 0.9 assists per game, all while shooting an efficient 52% from the field. Well, it looks like playing in the NBL gave Sarr the opportunity to develop his game. And thanks to the league's global scouting network and the reputation of the Next Stars program, his talent was recognized on a global scale. Oh, and to help Sportivations get recognized on a global scale, make sure you engage with our content. Comment, like, or share this video. We always love to hear what you think, so don't hold back on letting us know. Drafting another 7-footer like Alex Sarr to pair with Victor Wembanyama could be a dream scenario for the San Antonio Spurs, reminiscent of the Tim Duncan and David Robinson frontcourt pairing. While Sarr stands at 7'1", he's more suited to the power forward position, offering a different dynamic to Wembanyama's game. Sarr's defensive skill is a major asset, and he would complement Wembanyama's skills perfectly. With the ability to protect the rim and switch onto perimeter players, Sarr's defensive capabilities are highly coveted and could translate well to the NBA. Offensively, there are some questions about Sarr's role. Currently averaging 9.8 points, 4.6 rebounds, 1.0 assists, and 1.4 blocks in an 18.0 minutes per game for Perth, Sarr has shown potential as a stretch four, although his three-point shooting at 28.6% needs some improvement. His performance as a role man has been inconsistent, indicating that he still needs time to develop his offensive game. Though there are offensive uncertainties, Sarr's upside is immense. At just 18 years old, he has the potential to become an elite defender who can also space the floor and finish around the rim. His role with Perth has been valuable, and with more experience, he could blossom into a key player for any NBA team. So there are rumors that if Alex Sarr goes undrafted, he could potentially sign a contract in the range of the minimum salary for rookies, which is currently around $925,000 per year. If he's drafted in the second round, his contract would likely be higher, possibly in the range of $1 to $2 million annually. However, if he's drafted in the first round, his contract could be more lucrative, depending on his position and draft slot. Despite his NBA draft projections, Sarr prioritizes his NBL goals, aiming for the playoffs and relishing the competitive environment. He appreciates the NBL's tough, developmental nature, recognizing its role in nurturing future stars. While the NBL Next Stars program prepares players for the NBA, Sarr remains dedicated to his current journey. If he becomes the highest drafted Next Stars player and reaches the NBA, he'll be a tribute to the NBL's ability to cultivate top-tier talent. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and stick around for the next video. We're sure you'll love it. For literally every other college player, making it to the NBA is based solely on his ability on the court. But not Bronny James. But that's not to say he'll get drafted if he doesn't put up decent numbers on the floor. Here's the thing though, being the son of arguably the greatest basketball ever makes things a lot more complicated. What impact does that have on Bronny's future? And what does this future even look like as draft time gets closer for him? Stick around to find out these and much more. Kellen Winslow Sr. and Jr., Wayne Gretzky and Trevor Gretzky, Michael Jordan and Marcus Jordan, legendary athletes whose sons never came near matching their success. And not to be a downer, but it's looking increasingly likely that Bronny James, the son of the NBA's all-time scorer, might join that list. Initially during his middle school, AAU, and even high school days at Sierra Canyon, it looked like Bronny had what it took to at least make it to the league. It's a stretch saying anyone could be as good as LeBron James though. However, as the years went by and he began playing college ball for USC, everything seemed to be going wrong for him. Here's a quick recap of the past year of this dude's life. First, he suffered cardiac arrest caused by a congenital heart defect just months after committing to the Trojans. Before this incident, Bronny had been projected to be a top 10 pick in the 2024 NBA draft. Some viewed the top 10 as being too far out, but he was definitely expected to be a first-round pick based on the performances he had put up in high school. We mean, about a year ago, Bronny James was the most improved prospect in the country. Being out for months takes a toll on even NBA players, so it isn't a surprise that Bronny hasn't been the same since his return to the court after being on the sidelines for 5 months. What is a surprise is how far off he is from the player he used to be. Currently, after about 25 college games played for the USC Trojans, Bronny is averaging a measly 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists, while shooting 37%. For a bit of context, Bronny's Trojans teammate and fellow freshman Isaiah Collier is averaging 16.3 points, 2.9 rebounds, and 4.8 assists, with just 2 appearances more than Bronny. After such a disappointing freshman season, Bronny recently made the shocking announcement that he'd not only be entering the 2024 NBA draft, but also be maintaining his college eligibility, as he's entered the transfer portal, meaning that if he ends up not getting drafted into the league, we're likely to see him suiting up for another college team next season. With so much at stake for the 19-year-old, there are so many questions to be addressed. First of which is, will he get drafted? The statistical answer to that question is yes, since most projections have placed him as a second-round pick for the 2024 draft, more specifically as the 43rd overall pick. Do you agree that only 42 draft-eligible players deserve a place in the league ahead of Bronny? We'd like to know your thoughts in the comments, but solely based on what scouting companies think, Bronny is 43rd. Having started the year as a legitimate first-round draft, he wouldn't be very pleased to hear that. But the truth is that his time at USC really harmed the resume that Bronny has worked so hard to build. There's the excuse of the scary cardiac arrest incident and the fact that he was under a minute's restriction for his first 4 games after returning to the court. There's also the excuse of the Trojans' generally poor season that saw them go 8-12 to finish 9th in the Pac-12. However, individually, Bronny struggled to prove himself as NBA worthy, particularly during the times when super senior guard Boogie Ellis and Isaiah Collier were out injured. During a number of games with those guys out, Bronny had a chance to show out and step up for his team, but every time, he failed. Instead, he looked like he had been reduced to a 3-and-D type player, rather than the free and assertive player he was in Sierra Canyon.
One ended it at 6'4", and Bronny James.
Him scoring double figures only 3 times all season can largely be blamed on the fact that Bronny seems to have lost his shooting and shot creation skills. But these don't completely rule out his chances of getting drafted. After all, we've seen a number of players do poorly in college and end up being phenomenal in the league. One example of this is Russell Westbrook, who only averaged 3.4 points per game in his first year at UCLA, only to end up as the 4th overall pick after having just 1 more season of collegiate ball. If Bronny doesn't spend that extra year in college, but instead gets drafted by a team that can help him improve in the league, it'll be the Miami Heat, who have a reputation for taking undrafted free agents and NBA castoffs and shaping them into reliable rotational players.
I just want to compete. I just want to hoop. All the training is cool.
They already have a second-round pick, and everyone knows how much Eric Spoelstra helps to maximize talent for players who put in the hard work.
Just do your job, be reliable.
So South Florida sounds like a very reasonable destination for Bronny James. And if that doesn't work out, then San Antonio is also a likely and reasonable destination, and not for the reason most people think. You see, the Spurs have had a terrible season, and the only bright side is Victor Wembanyama winning the Rookie of the Year award with his insane 21.2 points, 10.5 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and an NBA best 3.5 blocks. Trey Jones was expected to work well with Wemby, but that hasn't worked out, and many feel the Spurs should get a veteran point guard like Dennis Schroeder from the Nets. However, it would work out really well if Greg Popovich opted to draft Bronny, having him be rotational with Jones for a season or 2, so he can develop out of the spotlight before finally becoming a starter. If he doesn't end up getting drafted by either of these 2 teams though, there's always the option of him playing wherever LeBron James is. It's literally that simple. It's no secret that LeBron James has repeatedly expressed his desire to spend time playing in the NBA with his first son. Dude legit said this 2 years ago: "My last year will be played with my son. Wherever Bronny's at, that's where I'll be. I would do whatever it takes to play with my son for 1 year." It's not about the money at that point. Given the king is hitting 40 soon, that final season might just be around the corner, meaning any team that drafts Bronny could very well be getting LeBron as part of the package. One thing that makes that a bit trickier is that the Lakers are currently not in a position where they need a player like Bronny, nor are they a strong enough team to allow him to make mistakes on the job. This means that the older James could very well opt out of his contract with the Lakers and move to any team willing to sign Bronny. We know. That sounds like teams could take Bronny, not because they feel he's good enough, but just because they want his dad. And we hate to break it to you, but that's actually what might or could happen. After all, LeBron is still the best in the league right now.
James off the steal.
Literally any team would want him on the roster, no matter the cost. Crazy thing is, not only the teams that could get the older James want this, even the media and fans want it. You don't even have to be a LeBron fan to imagine how poetic and heartwarming it'd be to have the greatest player of all time on the court with his son. That's the stuff movies are made of. The question here is, how does this affect Bronny? He's had to live with the pressure of being the son of an all-time great, bearing literally the same name, and struggling to measure up in on-court abilities. Now, having the doubt that teams wouldn't pick him for his abilities, but just because they want his dad, that's gotta mess with his head a bit. Get this though, we're not trying to question the role of LeBron as a good father or anything like that. No. However, the bitter truth is that a big part of the pressure Bronny has had, and will still have to deal with, has a lot to do with LeBron's actions. First, putting it out there that he would be a +1 when his son gets drafted isn't the wisest move. What we see most times is sport icons letting their kids have the space to shine on their own and make a name for themselves. Not that it makes much of a difference, because most times these legendary athletes' kids don't end up in the sport because of their love of the game or talent. It's more of something bestowed upon them. However, LeBron could have handled his desire to play with Bronny a whole lot better. More recently, we've seen him publicly defend Bronny, like when he tweeted, "Can y'all please just let the kid be a kid and enjoy college basketball? The work and results will ultimately do the talking, no matter what he decides to do." If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what a mock draft is. He just works. Earned, not given. Nice gesture to step up for his son, but the truth remains. He played a part in all the media attention being on his kid. If draft day does come, and Bronny gets drafted by a team that leads to LeBron joining the same team, that'll bring about an even broader issue of nepotism in the NBA. Already, fans, players, and even coaches have all criticized various forms of nepotism in the league, be it match-fixing accusations or complaints about undeserved accolades. Well, all those allegations will take a lot more to prove. The scenario of a team drafting a college kid because they want to get his dad as part of the package is as glaring as it comes. Let's be real. If Bronny's last name was, say, Johnson, and his parents were just regular working class people, do you think he'd be drafted into the NBA? Of course not. At least not if he just averaged less than 5 points per game in college. Sure, there have been multiple cases of family ties giving us some very impressive NBA players, like Del Curry and Steph, Jaren Jackson Sr. and Jr., Michael and Klay Thompson, Arvydas and Domantas Sabonis. The list goes on and on. But Bronny could end up joining the disappointing list that has the likes of Shaquille O'Neal's son, Sharif, who couldn't even make the draft, but still ended up getting a 6-figure deal with the developmental G League. Or J.R. Smith's younger brother Chris, who cost the Knicks about $2 million to sign and only ended up playing 2 games. The whole 2 LeBron James, 1 team would definitely not be a good way for Bronny to start his career. Even if it works out in the long run, the nepotism couldn't be more obvious, and it would take a lot of work on the younger James's behalf to clear his name and prove he's legitimate. At the end of the day, the more likely scenario is Bronny James will make it to the NBA. It'd make more sense for him to go undrafted and then get selected in the second round, because by then, teams would only be trying to get his dad through him. Going undrafted gives him the option of picking where he wants to play, which also means James is able to go to a team they think will be a fit for both of them. We'll have to wait and see how that turns out in the next few months. For now, we only have to hope that this is the last time we see a young athlete get overshadowed by the success of his parents. Because it's not as fun to watch as seeing an athlete build his own legacy without any family meddling. What's your take on this whole topic? Do you think Bronny James is good enough to be in the NBA? If yes, how do you think he'll manage the spotlight and extra scrutiny? And if not, well, don't be shy to let us know how you feel about him declaring for the draft. Let us know all your thoughts in the comments section, and enjoy our other videos.